everybody. How are you guys? I hope you're all doing well. I miss you so much. I had such a good time last week reading to you that I thought I would try it again this week. So I've picked a book that's another one of my favorites, and it reminds me of the Bible verse, Matthew chapter 5, verse 5. And it says, "Let your light shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven." Okay, and that when we do that, you've heard me say, let your light shine. When we let our light shine, it makes others feel good and we can fill their bucket. And that's just the story I'm going to read to you today. It's called How Full is Your Bucket? And it's written by Tom Rath and Mary Reckmeyer. All right. This is Felix, and this is his little sister Anna. Felix was putting one of the last blocks on his tower when his little sister came in. "I want to build with you," she said to Felix. But Felix scowled. "Go away, you're too little." How do you think that made Anna feel? "But I'm big." "No, stay back, you'll knock it over." "I can be really careful." "Go play with your baby toys, Anna." There's Anna. That's how it made her feel. Whack! So she knocked his tower over with her doll. "Grandpa!" So Grandpa came in, shook his head. "Felix, you just dipped from your sister's bucket. Like everybody else, Anna has an invisible bucket. And when it's empty, she feels bad. But when it's full, she feels great. Didn't you ever notice your own bucket?" Invisible bucket. Sometimes Felix couldn't quite tell when his grandfather was joking or when he was serious. Not so sure. But the next morning, when Felix woke up, there it was. It was a small gray bucket floating above his head. It's about half full. So when Felix came downstairs to have breakfast, it was one of those days. His mom was in a hurry. His sister was eating breakfast. He needed to get his breakfast. Mom says, "I've got a meeting to go to this morning, and it's almost time to go." "Anna, sit still." Everybody's frazzled. He's trying to get his own cereal. Do you ever do that? Do you ever try and climb on the counter and get your own cereal? Oh no! Felix slipped and the Choco Weeds scattered all over the floor. "Felix!" yelled his mom. You should have used the stool to reach that." Felix could feel his bucket tip and big invisible drops started to spill out. Drip, drip. "Ha ha!" Anna laughed as she crunched the cereal with her shoe. Drip, drip. More drips out. "Go get the broom and clean that up before you miss the school bus," scolded Mom. So with the school bus honking, Felix quickly swept up the Choco Wheats and grabbed the last blueberry muffin. But before he could even take one bite, guess what happened? Buster jumped up and grabbed the muffin right from his hand. Oh no, now he wouldn't get any breakfast. Drip, drip. Loses a little bit more water. "Hey, look at Felix's new backpack. My baby brother has one just like it." Drip, drip. And then girls are making fun of him over there or talking about him, and it hurts his feelings, so he loses a little bit more water. "Watch out, Shrimp." Somebody knocks him over and knocks his book out. Drip, drip. He loses a little bit more water. Oh no, it was still morning and Felix's bucket was almost empty. Look at that. And look at the look on his face. He doesn't look very happy, does he? Oh, poor guy. He looks very sad. As he watched his classmates walk into the room, he secretly hoped that they would trip and fall. That's what it feels like when you have an empty bucket. You just don't feel very good at all, and you just don't feel like letting your light shine. But Felix slumped into his seat and waited for something else bad to happen. Mrs. Bumblenickel walked slowly up to his desk and handed him a paper. Oh no, he could hardly bear to look. He thought, what else could there be? But she says, Felix, you wrote a wonderful story. Would you please share it with the rest of the class? Felix grinned and felt a big drop land right in his bucket. Bing! So he starts reading his story, and it's all about dinosaurs. And the class grew quiet. They laughed at all the right places, and they oohed at all the scary parts. And when Felix finally read the end, everybody clapped. Even Emily, who sat right next to him, and she didn't usually like dinosaurs, but she liked his story. Felix felt a whole shower of drops land in his bucket. Maybe the day wouldn't be so bad after all. Look, it's starting to fill his bucket. He goes to lunch and he sits with a friend. That fills his bucket. He sees a really nice note from his mom. That fills his bucket. He gets picked to be a captain for the soccer team at PE time. That fills his bucket because it makes him feel so good. The art teacher compliments him on his drawing, and one of his friends compliments him on his backpack. She said she liked it. That filled his bucket too. So his bucket is starting to get full. By the afternoon, it was nearly full, and he's looking at all the playground friends. At recess, when he looked around, Felix suddenly realized that his grandpa was right. Everyone else has a bucket too. Look at about everybody's head. They all have their invisible bucket, but Felix can see it. What he sees is a couple people have a bucket that's almost empty. So the principal had dropped papers. He says, let me help you. And he gets a drop and the principal gets a drop. Here's your baseball. And he helps this guy who lost his baseball. He gets a drop and his friend gets a drop in his bucket. Then he sees one little friend sitting on the bench all by himself whose bucket is almost completely empty. And he's very sad because he doesn't have anyone to talk to. So Felix goes up and he says, hi, I'm Felix. Is this your first day? And he offers him some friendship, and that makes him feel good. So they both get a drop in their bucket. The strange thing was that for every drop he helped put in someone else's bucket, he felt another drop in his own bucket. When Felix burst into the door after school, he shouted, you were right, Grandpa. I do have a bucket, and I understand how it works. Then he saw Anna's torn doll, and he says, bad dog. He saw that the dog had torn the doll off, the arm right off of Anna's doll. But then he thought, wait a minute, dogs might have invisible buckets too. Your doll will be okay, Anna. Mom will fix it, don't you worry. Until then, do you want to help me build the tallest building in the whole world with my blocks? And they did. By shining his light to his sister Anna and to all the friends at school, he helped fill their buckets and he filled his own. By shining his light, he showed the light of Christ to all those around him. And I know that you can do the same thing. So continue to fill your bucket, fill other people's bucket, and shine your light. Good night. I'll see you later.